this is the third anniversary episode of our Dark Horse live streams. You were doing Dark Horse for a bit, about 6 months before that. But we've been doing these weekly. We started off doing them twice weekly, pretty much reliably ever since. And it has been quite a wild ride.
Yeah, and I should say Dark Horse started as a discussion program, me and one other person, and we were doing it from a studio in downtown Portland. When COVID happened, Zach and I grabbed everything we could pull out of that studio and moved it to our place and got a lot of stuff from a hardware store and built the set that we were on the whole time we were in Portland under lockdown. But that the idea for the live streams came from you. What you said was we were doing something, trying to sort out what was going on with COVID, trying to use our biological toolkit to make sense of it. And you felt that we really needed to share what we were doing because everybody was struggling to figure it out and it might be useful. And it was a tremendously good idea. And we know, because we run into people all the time who tell us what this meant to them during the COVID period, that it was the right idea. And I'm so glad that we did it, in spite of all of the terrible stuff that came back at us in many regards.
Yeah, no, it's been clarifying again. We had an evergreen moment of scales falling from our eyes and finding clarity around both issues and relationships that could be painful. But as I began saying back then, well, I'm glad I know.
Yep.
And once again, that's the case. And it's the case throughout COVID as well, that as painful as it can be to realize that some of the relationships you have aren't what they seemed, and people don't have the values that they claim to have. I'd rather know. I'd always rather know. And that's, I think one of the things that you learn in all of this is that some people wouldn't rather know, right? Some people would rather stay in the dark. And of course, just as when Evergreen blew up, that's coming up on 6 years now, we lost some relationships, but gained so many more that were extraordinary. And we have made some just amazing both professional relationships and friendships since we've been doing these live streams, and are very grateful for that.
It's better than that.
Awesome.
Yes.
Is that the first time you ever said that?
Not in life, but
even better than
it's
that.
even better than that.
Terrific. Let's do it.
So you said you're grateful to know.
Yeah.
And I would go way past that. It is essential that you find out who it is who can be relied upon under crisis circumstances, because the worst thing that can happen is you can imagine, based on how people behave under normal circumstances, what they're going to do in a crisis. You can be dead wrong. And then when the crisis happens, the cost of discovering that in real time is spectacular. So as terrible as it was to have seen people that we would have imagined would stand up under crisis conditions fail in that, as you say, it's better to discover it so that you don't put weight on that ice. And the people who you discover in the crisis, the people who shine, sometimes people surprise you, or other times you meet people that you never would have encountered absent the crisis, and you discover that they are up to the challenge. It is admittedly painful, but it is an upgrade to the quality of life.
Yes.
So anyway, the universe, when it puts you through a crisis and reveals who can't handle it, is doing you a favor. And it is important to realize that that's what's happening, as much as it is heartbreaking to lose people.
Absolutely. So thank you.
Indeed.